HOA built 86 homes on my lakefront and called cops to evict me. This video comes from a viewer who writes, "I am a real person. My name will be disclosed upon request. But many of the names and identifying details have been changed to protect the privacy of others involved. Please keep this anonymous and do not use my real name or any identifying details, except that I live in California." I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's pretty crazy. Let's jump in. So in 1997, I bought 5 acres of land on Lake Hallie in a quiet, unincorporated part of the county. It was raw, wild land back then. I spent years clearing it myself. Built a modest home, planted trees, and carved out a little dock where I could fish every evening. There was no HOA, no neighbors. Just birds, pine, water, and sky. I filed every deed properly, paid all my taxes, registered my land as private residential, had proof of everything. For over 2 decades, my life was quiet. Until one day, bulldozers came rumbling down the hill and stopped at the bottom of my driveway. To say I was confused is an understatement. So I strolled down to the road, and there it was, a bulldozer removing the last of my trees. I found a guy in a high-waist vest directing traffic. I introduced myself and asked if he knew what was going on. He turned around, looked me up and down, and said, "Yeah, you're in the wrong place, buddy." "You need to go around," I said. "Excuse me? This is my property." He looked at the sign in his hand. Lot 41, Lake Hallie Shores Subdivision. He looked back at me and laughed. Not for long, and he turned back to his clipboard. Within weeks, the trees were gone. Roads were being laid. Model homes went up, and I got busy contacting the county. I learned that they had issued building permits for the subdivision. But those permits showed my land as part of the new development, part of a newly incorporated subdivision called Lake Hallie Shores. That was the first time I saw it. A map with my land divided into lots 37 through 43. My house, future community clubhouse. I tracked down the developer and sent him a certified letter explaining the situation. He never replied. I sent him another one. Still nothing. Then I got the first notice in my mailbox. It was from a company called Evergreen Lake Management. It read, "Dear resident of Lot 41, as of March 1st, your property is now under the governance of the Lake Hallie Shores HOA. You are required to pay $385 monthly dues and submit plans for any structural modifications to the home." I nearly choked. Does governance? I never signed anything. I contacted a lawyer, was confused. The records had somehow been updated to show that my land was part of the newly formed HOA district. Except I had received no notice, no ballot, no hearing. They called it eminent domain by incorporation. Legal gray zone, classic land grab. So I went back to the county. They told me the vote had been public. But when I asked for a copy of the proposal, they said the records had been misfiled and were missing. But the county clerk swore the vote had passed. It would have been on the news, she said. Everyone knew about it. So I checked the archives. I found stories about the development, about the vote, even an interview with the developer. But not a single mention of eminent domain by incorporation. Then the notices escalated. The HOA started sending me warnings about unauthorized landscaping, citations for a non-compliant dock, threats of forced compliance, and fines for non-payment of dues. I ignored them all. Then, on a rainy Thursday, I got a knock at the door. 2 officers, 1 local, 1 county. They said they had come to assist with a peaceful removal from my house. I showed them my original deed, tax receipts, satellite photos from before the development. The younger officer looked sick to his stomach. "Something's not right here," he muttered. But they said the HOA had filed a civil eviction, claiming I was squatting on common use land. They even had a judge's order obtained without me present based on the false records. When they realized I wasn't budging, they said they would be back with a warrant. And they were true to their word. They returned the next day with a sheriff and 2 agents from Evergreen. I let them in, figuring a judge had signed a warrant, so it was pointless to resist. Maybe I'd get thrown in jail, then someone would find my body in the marsh. But they didn't kick me out. They served me with the lawsuit and left. I wasn't arrested. I wasn't evicted, but they left me with a warning. Get a lawyer, fast. So I did more than that. I hired a land use attorney, filed for an injunction, went to the press, and I started a blog. Lakefront Lies, Within weeks, it caught fire. Turns out I wasn't the only one. At least 4 other property owners had been absorbed into the development without consent. The HOA had used outdated surveys, ghost signatures, and legal loopholes to expand their control. And the developer? Shell Corporation, registered in Delaware with no public face. My case went to court, and I won the injunction, temporarily freezing all HOA actions on my land. The judge presiding over my case said, "At best, this is administrative negligence. At worst, it's organized theft. We're still in litigation. But I'm not leaving. Not until my land is free, and not until every other homeowner knows. What happened to me can happen to you. What actually happened to our narrator, we don't know. But since this is a real story, I'll fill you in." Our narrator emailed me after he submitted his story to our legal advas, and it went viral. He wrote, "I want to let you know that I've heard from many people since posting the story. I've spoken to state reps and senators. Many people are looking into the situation, and I've talked to several attorneys. I found a good one who has handled cases like this before. We have a court date set, and I'll know more soon. Right now, I just want to thank you for letting me share my story." About 2 months later, our narrator emailed me again and wrote, "Just wanted to update you on my battle with the HOA. Good news, I prevailed in court. The judge ruled that the HOA has no standing on my property and that they are trespassing. The judge also ruled that the county was negligent in allowing this to happen. The county clerk admitted to losing important documents, including the recorded map and plat for the area. Bad news, the developer has appealed the decision. Also, the county is trying to get the appeal dismissed because they claim I am not appealing the correct parts of the judgment. But my attorney feels confident that I will win once it goes to the appeals court. Bottom line, I'm still fighting, but things are looking up. Thank you again for listening to my story." Our narrator continued emailing me, and he asked if he could put a link to my channel on his blog. He said, "You helped me get my story out, and I feel that I should show my appreciation." I told him that was very much appreciated, but I told him the truth. I told him I hadn't really done anything. I just gave him a platform. And I told him that the reason his story went viral was because it was so good. He was such a great writer, and he deserved all the attention he was getting. But what do you guys think? What should our narrator do next? Should he try to sue the county for negligence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you really like this video, please consider supporting me. But most importantly, thank you for watching.